when a car is being manufactured by two separate companies in a joint venture, there's only two things that can happen. They can get the best of both worlds together, or they can completely mess it up. Let's see what case it is for the Honda Prologue. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Outsider Reviews. My name is Pat, and I'm just a military veteran now doing car reviews. Now, if you want to support me, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do reviews each and every week. Cars, everyday cars that you would like to buy, and I do it on your behalf, the consumer. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the Honda Prologue. Now, the reason why I said two manufacturers is because this is a joint venture between General Motors and Honda. Essentially, Honda is not really making EVs on their own right now. They're not quite there. However, they are announcing that they're going to have their Zero Series coming out in a few years from now, a couple years. So until then, they're using the GM, General Motors, Ultium platform. So that's a skateboard platform, so it includes the battery, the motors, and all that stuff. And everything else was designed by Honda from the top up. So the look, the aesthetics, everything else, I'm going to go over some of the differences between the General Motors Chevy Blazer, which is the platform they share, as well as the Cadillac Lyriq. But without further ado, let's just go right into it. Now let's get right into the nitty-gritty stuff about the Honda Prologue. Yes, it does share the platform with the Chevy Blazer. It is quite relatively the same size as the Blazer, similar cargo space and all. Now, if you want to compare it to the Honda CR-V, you're looking at a vehicle that's actually 8 inches longer and 5 inches wider. So it's got a wider and longer platform than the CR-V. Now we've got the all-wheel drive model here. So underneath the hood, we don't have a front trunk. So there's no front trunk. No Ultium base EVs have any frunks. So get that out of the way. As far as the all-wheel drive model, you're looking at 288 horsepower, 333 pounds-feet of torque, capable of towing 1,500 pounds. Now, as far as range goes, you're looking at 452 kilometers or 281 miles. That depends on the trim as well. That can go down. That's the EX and the EXL all-wheel drive can get that. It does go down a few miles for the touring, so you're looking at 439 kilometers. Charging is looking at a 85 kilowatt battery. Charging, they say it's between 20 to 80% in 35 minutes at a charging speed at 150 kilowatts. If you decide to go with the front wheel drive, well, first of all, you got to live in the United States to get that. All wheel drive is the only option here in Canada. But if you do get front wheel drive in the US, you're looking at 212 horsepower, 236 pounds-feet of torque, and 296 miles. So we're getting close to that nice 300-mile range. So that's actually where I'd like to see most EVs is be at least around the 300-mile range. So that's really not bad. And let's go right into the design here. I absolutely love the more conservative approach of the Honda Prologue. I like how it's more linear. Everything is kind of like on the horizontal kind of shade, and I actually like that. It looks really good. We do have some fog lights down here as well, and everything is LED as expected. You got a relatively flat-ish front end, and I'm pretty glad that Honda was able to keep that authenticity of, you know, the Honda brand, right? Not having looking too much of a General Motors. Now over here, we are riding on the 21-inch wheels. I do prefer if you go to the 19-inch wheels. So the 19-inch wheels for all the other trims, 21 inches is an added option that I personally would not add, but I do like the spokes design that they have. It's not too EV, it's quite simplistic, but looks really nice. I absolutely love it. Now, as far as charging goes, you're looking at a spring-loaded door. I absolutely love that. Why do I say I absolutely love that? Well, because that's something that took off from the Blazer. The Blazer has a motorized door, and it kind of goes like this to open it, which is assigned at the electric motor. Well, you know what? That might not last very long. So I think you're increasing longevity here, reliability, by just keeping it nice and simple, spring-loaded. So you're looking at CCS charging, like I said, 150 kilowatt charging speed, which is okay. I wouldn't say it is top notch. I would say it's just okay. There's some vehicles out there, Volkswagen 190, the Korean Twins, Hyundai, Kia. They're more around the 350 kilowatts. So you can see there's a huge gap. So I absolutely love that they kept regular door handles on this vehicle, right? It's just regular door handles. You got your keyless entry right here, the little button right here. Just pull, shut, easy case close. Now the Blazer, they decided to make it flush door handles. I just think that we're complicating something that doesn't need complicated, and in doing so, you're kind of scratching a little bit at reliability, because the more you have, the more that can go wrong. So they kept it simple, not just with the charging port, but with the handle. Definitely love these kind of changes. You're going to see different kind of changes between this and the Chevy Blazer throughout. So just one last look of the side profile here. Absolutely love the look of it. It's nice. It's got a nice squarish design, which I absolutely love. And you can actually order this in different colors depending on the trim you're going to get. I absolutely love the blue one that Honda has, the Pacific Northwest Coast, whatever. The blue color they have looks absolutely amazing. Here we got the white one, still looks really good. Now here in the back end, we've got Honda stamped out, looking really good. And obviously Prologue, all-wheel drive, all your badging and stuff. We have a rear wiper, which I absolutely love, because we just test drove the Cadillac Lyriq, same platform again, didn't have a rear wiper. So Honda, thank you for putting on a rear wiper. Why are people getting rid of the rear wiper? I mean, we need them. That being said, we also has a motorized tailgate, so you can do the gesture, the kick and gesture, or you can just press the button. Now inside we have 25.2 cubic feet with all the seats up, or 57.7 cubic feet with the seats down. For the touring trim, this particular one is 23.7 cubic feet, or 54.5 cubic feet of space. You can see you lose a couple of cubic feet just for having the touring. And you actually lose a couple cubic feet when you compare it to the Chevy Blazer, which is where I have a little bit of confusion, because these are relatively the same size. So where are they gaining those extra couple of cubic feet in the Chevy Blazer? I don't know. Maybe it's in the writing. Who knows? But that's basically where it stands. When you're comparing it to the CR-V, the CR-V has way more cargo capacity than this. Here we are in the back seat. Now you're looking at 39.4 inches of leg room. Ample enough. I know I'm not the tallest guy, I'm only 5'9". That being said, at 5'9", you can see my hair is slightly touching the roof. So headroom, you know, you're gonna be suffering from that lower roof a little bit. Definitely gonna touch. So we also have cup holders, really good. And you can see we got the nice two-tone leatherette, so it's gray and charcoal and orange stitching. Looks really good. It actually feels really good. I can actually have a little bit of recline on this as well. Just go in the back this way, and I could set it forward like this, a little bit more upright, or I could set it like this, a little bit more further back. I mean, I like the upright position personally myself. I have my own ventilation. I do not have any HVAC controls, so that's a little bit of a bummer. It's only dual zone up in the front for the people that apparently matter most. And then we have a regular 110 outlet and USB-C, two USB-C chargers, as well as a little bit of a platform here to store your device, and a kangaroo pouch. I will say that the comfort level is pretty good, and the legroom is more than enough. I've seen some people complain a little bit that this is plastic. It is a little bit plasticky, and when we get to the price, that might be where it could be a little bit frustrating. I will say this, I love that it is just a nice simple design. You do have some leatherette fabric here as well, but the rest is, you know, hard plastic. But as a father, this is easier to clean and easier to maintain. However, when you pay a certain price, sometimes you expect a little bit more. Here I am in the driver's seat, and not sure if you could hear that with the mic or not, but you got the regular GM chimes. Now, GM definitely likes to throw in a lot of chimes in there. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is built into this vehicle as well. Right away, we have different configuration. This is where you can see the differences between the General Motors product and Honda. This is where Honda's fingerprints can be clearly seen. So instead of having just the big screens that you can see in the Cadillac Lyriq and such, and you have two separate screens. So we have 11-inch driver information cluster and as well as a 11.3-inch infotainment system. So this group right here, you can configure it. So you have different, I have right now the regular gauge circular view, and I can change it. I have right here, you see the map. So that's Google built-in map. So you still have the Google built-in software that you could enjoy with the Chevrolet Blazer. And one thing that's good about that is route calculation or route calculation. When it's built into the EV, it takes into account how much battery life you have and whether you're going to make it there, and it's going to find you chargers. So pretty convenient. Now, more gauges view. So here I have my Android gauge, so it's hooked up to Waze right now. And then driver assist. So speaking of driver assist, if you didn't see my Honda Pilot review, I recommend that you go see it. But also, the Honda Pilot won the IIHF Top Safety Pick, and they did so because all the safety driving assist system is incorporated from the bottom trim, so from the entry level trim. So this is the same thing with all these trims here. Advanced driving assist, standard, whatever it's pedestrian safety or collision avoidance, all of those are standard. Really love it. One thing that's not standard that you can get in a GM, as you look at the steering wheel, you see there's a big blank. Some people, I've seen videos, they call it, budget buttons or whatever one you want to call it, is when it's blanked out because you don't have that feature. That's Super Cruise right here. So you do not have the General Motors Super Cruise, which I absolutely love. It's a hands-free driving assist and is really great for long distance drives. We have a review on it. Go check it out. That being said, this Honda does not come with it, but it does come with all the standard other sensing safety information. So the stock as well, column shifter right here. So pull towards you, shift down for drive, shift up for reverse, and press the button for park. Very intuitive. It's one of the better shifters out there for personally, as far as putting it into gear, because you don't need to look down. It's very intuitive down. It's just like a regular column shifter, but electronic. And here you have your windshield wiper stock. Like I said, very happy that we have a rear wiper over here. Now down here to my left, I do have my parking brake, but it will get engaged automatically when you put it in park and it's on a hill. So you don't have to worry so much about that. And then here, because we have the touring trim, we do have the sports mode. So I look forward to testing that in the drivability, so we're going to do that in a little bit now. And it's only in touring that you can get the sports mode. So I get it, I understand it, because when I was shopping around for example, the Blazer EV, and you shop between the LT, 2LT, and the RS, really the RS, all it gives you is some aesthetics and different tires and such. And I said, well, they should have included something that makes it like sportier, right? Well, here that's what they did with the touring. You get sports mode. So you want to drive it sporty, well, you're going to have to get that upper trim. I definitely understand that. Moving on, here we go. We got the 11.3 digital infotainment screen. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Like I said, something that General Motors does not offer. And it's great because this is going to save you money in the long run. The reason why I'm saying that is because reports are coming out that you won't be able to use the Google built-in navigation unless you pay a subscription fee. So this could be up to $300 a year. In this vehicle, you can use your Android navigation, your Waze, your even Google Nav through Android, and it's no issue. So I definitely think this makes it a better buy if that kind of stuff matters to you. And down below, and again, as far as like responsiveness, this screen responds really well. The icons are very clear. Everything, I absolutely love everything about it, except for the fact that I have to go in there to change my headlights situation before I turn on automatic. But most people do keep it on automatic, so I can see that's not a big deal. One pedal drive as well through this screen to activate, but you do have a paddle, yeah, like a little bit paddle here. So for regen, you just keep clicking that paddle, and it increases the regen, so more one pedal drive. And it is true one pedal drive, really fine tuned. I've said that in my Cadillac Lyric review. Go check that one out if you haven't checked it out. But it's really well tuned. That being said, we have hard buttons for the HVAC. Absolutely love it. Again, that's what I like. I don't like going strictly through the screens. I like having a little bit of combination of both. So, and you can set the temperature here. Like I said, dual zone temperature change. You can see that this is where they have put some piano black, but it's not overkill on piano black, because you see a lot of piano black down here and everywhere. So here, this is basically where it is on the inside, as well as on the side door as well. You do have presets for your seats on the side door. And this is a little bit softer fabric here than it is in the back seat. But that being said, I'm not too obsessed with what kind of material. This is leather, sorry. And I'm not too obsessed with what kind of material they put on the door, personally. Down here, again, a little bit more of the cheap plastic look, but I prefer having that over piano black, to be honest. Piano black is terrible. And you have a nice, large anti-slip surface right here. Definitely good. You can put multiple items and such. They just won't slide off. 2 USB-Cs, and we do have a 12-volt outlet as well. Large, big gulp cup holders. Loving it. And down here, I have my wireless charger. So I love this. Is very ergonomic. I absolutely love it. And you know what? If you want to put it down here too, it won't slide off so much because it's that nice rubber feeling. Here we have some leather and some orange stitching on the side. A fairly deep center console. So for storage, you're doing really well, because you have that deep and spacious center console, as well as down here, and it still has an anti-slip. So the bin down below has an anti-slip fabric to it. So it's just more storage, and that won't slide around, which is definitely something you look forward to when you're driving around. These kind of things can definitely annoy you. So I love what they did here, and I don't mind that it looks a little bit basic. I actually, I prefer it. It's easier to clean, and you don't, harder to damage and scratch and stuff. I like it. I have perforated leather seats, and as far as the seat comfort, this is where the Prologue's width comes in handy, because I'm a fairly wider person because I'm only 5'9", but my shoulders are pretty wide, and I like that these seats are wide. I like that I have the spacious. I like to have the width, to have all this nice open space here. Definitely comfortable. The seats are very comfortable, ventilated and heated seats, which is a little bit of a bummer that in the back seats there is no heated outboard seats. I would have loved to have seen that. As like I said, when I get to the price, it's going to be all these little things that aren't included are going to maybe hurt you when you look at the price. That being said, extremely comfortable. Now, just a little bit of some final thoughts. I do have, as well as a heads-up display, which I think is a very nice touch. And up here we have hazard lights, so definitely want to know that when, we're used to looking down here, and here there's a nice space where you could have put it, but it's up here for your hazard lights. And the nice panoramic sunroof, I absolutely like. It comes included as far as you get to the EXL and up, which I think is pretty nice. We do have also the nice upgraded sound system, so that's when you get to the Touring, you get all the extra bells and whistles. Like I said, EXL and up gets sunroof, but Touring gets the speaker, nice upgraded Bose sound system. It sounds pretty good. So all in all, it's nice, it's spacious, plenty of legroom, plenty of shoulder room, and especially up here, plenty of headroom. But how does it drive? Let's go see. Here we are. We're about to take it for a spin. We got it in sports mode. We got 288 horsepower, 333 pounds-feet of torque. I've got the one pedal drive on its highest setting because that's how I like to drive. And like I said, sports mode, we're going to test out the acceleration. Let's see. Go. Okay, so in the initial, it doesn't have the snap back, but then you can feel that progressive energy. It does generate to, you know, an EV acceleration noise. But to be honest, 288 horsepower and 333 pounds-feet of torque is not the EV that's going to send you to the back of your seat. It's also not the EV that's going to, you know, win any races off the line. And I don't think this is the purpose of Honda as well. Like, if they could, they would, right? Plus, we have the Acura. That's something that we're going to test as well. I'm expecting that one to be more sportier to handle, sportier to drive. So, is the sports aspect of it worth it to go with the touring? Well, let's check it out. I'm going to turn the sports mode off. I'm going to come to a complete stop here when just around this bend. I don't want to do that in a curve. Not safe. And then I'm just going to test it, right? So this is me just letting go, and this is the one pedal drive. Comes to a complete stop, and then 3, 2, 1, and go. You know what? I don't think that the sports mode is affecting it that much, and most of the people are going to drive it just in regular mode anyways. So I think the EXL is the best bargain deal in my opinion. Now let's get a little bit more of the drivability. One thing I absolutely do love, and this is coming off of reviewing the Cadillac Lyric just a few weeks ago, is that the suspension is more firm, and I absolutely love that because it just gets me to have a more responsive drive in that sense, but it still absorbs, yeah, it still absorbs pothole. I mean, I'm driving in a fairly rough road. It's a winding road out here in the mountains, but yeah, the suspension is way better tuned in my opinion than the Lyric that I drove last week. That being said, you still get the extremely comfortable and quiet ride of an EV. The comfort is obviously the seats are very comfortable in the touring, so touring, you're gonna have more comfortable seat. Quiet ride, you're gonna get it across the board no matter what trim you choose. And cornering is like almost no body roll. This is actually quite amazing for a vehicle this size. We got an 85 kilowatt battery, 450 kilometers of range, and 281 miles. That's with the EX and the EXL. Your range drops a little bit with the touring, which is where it comes to say that the EXL may be your better bet. Also, you get like an extra 4 cubic feet of space, and that probably comes with the fact which is good. You got a subwoofer with the Bose premium system. So if you value cargo space and range, maybe the EXL actually is a very good choice. You still get the panoramic sunroof. You know, the interior is still quite nice. I absolutely love it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just taking a pretty good curve right here, and it handles it really good. I am quite impressed. I was actually expecting it to handle like quite similar to the Cadillac Lyric, but it definitely impresses me. So overall, driving wise, we're driving this vehicle for a week, and essentially my thoughts on the driving is it's not the EV that's going to kick you to the stomach kind of acceleration. It's going to be quite comfortable. It's obviously very spacious. The seats are extremely comfortable. I'm very happy with the seats. The acceleration is gradual yet constant. It's smooth. And the cornering is still pretty good. Like, I still don't have that much body roll. Like I said, for the size and weight of this vehicle, this is actually really good. So all in all, this is quite a sensitive vehicle, but it's not a vehicle that, like I said, you're not going to race anybody with this. It's also not the vehicle that's going to lead in cargo space, but it does everything really good. And it's an EV that's, for all intents and purposes, it's simple. It's not flashy. It doesn't require one big giant screen, no buttons, minimalistic. It's a car. It's a car, regular car that happens to be electric motor driven, happens to have really good range. I'm pretty happy with the range, and happens to be well tuned to the weight of its vehicle, that the suspension is quite well, maybe better than its counterparts in my opinion. Like I said, I actually prefer the handling of this vehicle than the Cadillac Lyriq. The Cadillac Lyriq is a much faster vehicle in that sense, but again, the Acura is going to take care of that, and I look forward to reviewing that particular vehicle. Now let's go and finish with our final thoughts. Now, before we're going to go off into our final thoughts, I'm just going to go over the price, even though I've been pushing it off a little bit. And this is why. In Canada, this is going to start at $60,000 and go all the way up to $70,000. In the US, you're looking at $48,000 and always $58,000. So you can see where, you know, the lack of heated outboard seats, for the rear seats, sorry, and some of the material use may be coming into factor. Now, in Canada, it is eligible for the $5,000 rebate. And in the US, I believe they will credit you that $7,500, as well as giving you, they call it like charging credits. You can get a credit towards installing a home charger, or credits towards other few things. So in the US, you do have that, which is pretty nice. So before I move off to my final thoughts, I just want to give a little bit of a shout out. I do so for military veteran owned companies every now and then, like Mad Hatter Industries and such. I'm a military veteran, so just bear with me. Quick little shout out to All the Way. Now, All the Way is a saying that we use in the airborne community, because we always say how far, and we always go all the way. Now, Gordo, which is the owner of this company, he's not just any regular serving military, but he actually operated with the special forces. He was a recon, so recce right here, reconnaissance, airborne patrolman, door kicker, whatever you want to call it. So definitely show your support. Click on the link below in the description and go check out his apparel company. And again, as it is in the military community, don't buy a shirt that you do not have the qualification for. So keep that in mind. We do ask you to respect that. So go see All the Way. Now this takes me to my final thoughts about the Prologue. I'm going to revert back to what I initially said in my intro. You got two manufacturers making one vehicle. It could go either two ways. Either they're going to take the best of both worlds and mash it up together and it's going to be great, or they're going to completely screw it up. It's going to be a miscommunication, and it's all going to go wrong. I think you know which way I'm leaning because you've been watching this review, right? Unless you just skip to the end, then in that case, I'll tell you. The best of both worlds. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because there's a spring-loaded charge port, not a motorized electrical motor required to open it. Same thing for the doors. They don't require electric motor to push them out and, you know, probably cause some issues. It's regular convenient door, whether you're nice and sturdy, whether you want a strong man and you like to yank these doors open, these are gonna last. Another thing is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, something you can't have in the other variant from Chevrolet. You just can't, and then that's going to save you money in the long run. You're looking at $300 subscription just to use the built-in navigation once that trial is over. Over here, just go on Android Auto and just use Google Nav or Waze or whatever you want to have. You're not stranded and not being able to navigate or having to look at your phone because it won't project to the screen. These kind of things definitely matter to me. I will give it a little bit of some negative feedback because no car is perfect, but we're looking at Torque, I think it's a little bit low on the low spectrum for torque. Cargo space, again, I think it's on the low end for cargo space. I mean, this thing is 8 inches longer, 5 inches wider than a CRV, yet doesn't offer the same amount of cargo space, offers significantly less cargo space, and even less cargo space than the Chevy Blazer. I don't know what happened there, but they could definitely have used the front trunk just for added cargo and maybe drop that floor down a little bit because you have that bin at the end. These are just thoughts, right? Again, I'm gonna finish with price. Now, price is a little high for my personal taste, but that being said, you can get an EXL and have a very good vehicle with nice pair 19-inch sunroof, and you get all the safety features on there. You can definitely use everything. The Google built-in is still there, wireless Apple CarPlay, all the features are there. It's just a little bit less fancy, you know, no heads-up display, no fancy perforated leather seats and that kind of stuff. But you also don't get outboard rear heated seats, so that is the last cons I'm gonna throw it towards. Maybe also when you do get to the touring price, I would expect nicer fabric than, you know, plastic everywhere. I know the people that would buy that upper trim probably would have those kind of expectations. Like I said, personally, I think it just makes it more durable and easy to maintain. So I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about what I just said? My opinion on the durability of it. I think it's the more durable and the smarter Blazer EV that you can pick. Also, aesthetic wise, looks really nice. And you definitely see less of them in my area. So a lot of people have been coming up to me. It's like, what EV is this? Because we haven't seen these on the road. So Honda, you need to get more of these on the road. And yeah, also I'd like to invite you to like and subscribe, support this channel, and I guess we'll see you in the next one.